Hello, everyone. My name is Frank LaCoco. Um, my story begins 2022, and before I have to start this video in a short 3-minute period, I'd like you guys to know that everything I say I have solid, ironclad evidence to. Um, I don't have much to say about my initial hearing because I wasn't even so much as allowed to speak or breathe, or the judge from Los Animas County, Colorado, Trinidad, um, is also the chief judge for Herfano County. Chief Judge John Clay McKisson. I was not allowed to show evidence, so like I said, during my first hearing, there's not much to talk about, but my daughter was a victim of the family court systems and spent 85% of her time with me prior to my ex-wife just deciding to get up and leave with my two stepdaughters, as well as my biological daughter, who is now going to be 8 in a few more days. Luckily, now I do have her back weekends, summer vacations, and after about $340,000 spent, actually, we're not going to go that far. We'll say $280,000 lost to this battle. My second hearing in front of this judge did not go so well either. It was our final divorce decree. And even though the investigator, the CFI, hired by my ex-wife and appointed by this judge, we found out that she was a perpetrator in her own 3-month-old son's death from her previous marriage. Both of my stepdaughters were placed into Illinois DCFS custody, which I've gotten out of DCFS custody, which I'm sure you guys know how hard that is to do. Got the children returned to her for 6 years. She was a great mother. She was a great woman. And one night she just decided to turn and start throwing things at me, and things flared up, and I broke her cell phone. I have never in my life put my hands on any female or anybody that I love, for that matter, including my children. Even though the evidence was shown that I haven't ever laid a hand on anybody, that everything that my ex said was all false allegations. The judge ignored all of the evidence, of course. But the judge, John Clay McKisson, like I said, from Los Animas County, Colorado, was expressed to him that not only was my ex-wife physically abusive, that it was on audio, video, along with her admittance to me never touching her or my children, and me even threatening to call the police on her at one time due to the fact that she was being abusive to both myself and the children. My middle stepdaughter told Jennifer that if you're going to keep being mean to my daddy, then I don't want to live with you. I want to go live with him and Farah, meaning my youngest biological daughter, because we always had an agreement that if anything were to transpire and needed to dissolve the relationship, that our daughter would be with me, since she was with me 85% of the time anyways. And then my oldest stepdaughter said, yes, Mom, I would rather go live with Dad than be with you. And the next day, she said she was going to visit some friends and disappeared with all of the kids. That taking place, it took me 1.5 years before I got to see my biological daughter again. And of course, I had to go through all the rigmarole everybody else had to go through: supervised visitations, meeting with the family investigator, whom was 100% on my side, explained to the courts, like I said, how abusive she was. The house was in disarray. I believe she used the word trashed. Dog feces, urine, and a dumpster is what the inside of the home looked like. Our kids were just taken from me. all in one night. This was all explained to the judge. As my ex-wife took the stand to testify under oath, she openly and admitted said that she did not want custody of our daughter, that she just wanted visitation. Lo and behold, it took 2.5 months before the judge made his final decree, and as my attorney tried to get a hold of him and filed for contempt, he did not respond because he was on vacation. So yes, 2.5 months later, we received the final decree. I was told my daughter would not be living with me. He discredited his CFI, took none of the evidence with the exception of one, because my ex-wife tried to claim that I sexually abused my oldest daughter, who is not related to her. And my oldest daughter just had a field day with them. Got on the phone and testified and was swearing and telling everybody that they were sick and disgusting. My oldest son, and my oldest daughter are from a previous marriage whom I raised alone as a single father. So we can get into that story later if need be. But I did raise them, my oldest daughter since she was 1.5 years, and my son since he was 10 months old, by myself. Knowing that as well, the judge did not care. So I was told that I would not be able to see my daughter, that the mother has sole custody and sole decision making, that she will be able to move out of state from Colorado to Amarillo, Texas, because that's where her parents reside. And that I would have to come to Amarillo to do supervised visitations, and then after that I would have to see her one Saturday a month, and that would move to a progressive scheduling. And by the time I did get her every other weekend, of course, there were more and more violations of the court order and contempt with my ex-wife of withholding, alienation, not showing up for 21 days. I'm sure everybody else has gone through this, but as I said, she was found to be a perpetrator in her own child's death, along with her ex-husband for her 3-month-old son. And that was the purpose behind both my stepdaughters being placed in the custody, which I had no idea that were the case, because her ex-husband's mother verified it was all of her son's fault. So I didn't understand what kind of mother would do that to her own child. So I thought the story to be believable. And we also found out Jennifer had drug charges in Missouri and distribution to sell and grow and a whole bunch of other stuff that I have, like I said, ironclad evidence to prove. Videos, audios, everything you could think of, text messages, phone calls. It's unbelievable the amount of evidence that I have. Even a state's attorney from a friend of a friend back home in Illinois said if this was a murder trial, she would be going to the death penalty. But so that's my story. Like I said, my name is Frank LaCoco. I am grateful to have my youngest back as much as I do now. And I'm still fighting. My whole reason for this fight is to get everybody's children back and out of this corruption. Just because I have mine back is not going to stop me from fighting this. Robert Garza has been a huge influence and has done me a very solid favor. Have given me more respect than I ever could imagine from the way I grew up. The things that he's given me is pretty unheard of. So a big shout out to Robert Garza. Thank you, sir. You know, I got your back until infinity. If there is anything else needed of me, please feel free to contact me, and I will get whatever information is needed out to you. Thank you very much. I hope you guys all stay safe and blessed, and your kids as well. Take care. Bye.